My name is Leah Kent of leahcherrykent.com, and I am an intuitive brand consultant and a writer. One of the things that I hear are questions about writing, and one of them is, why do morning pages work? Now, by morning pages, I am talking about the book The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. It is a classic reference around creativity and making work in the world and really nourishing our creativity. So the morning pages practice, if you're not familiar, is essentially first thing in the morning to write by hand 3 pages. And it's stream of consciousness writing, meaning you're meant to just keep the pen moving. Don't stop, don't edit, don't judge, don't critique. Just keep the pen moving and capture whatever is running through your mind. So you might liken it to almost like a brain dump is another way of thinking about it, although it's meant to be more like prose. But it's flexible and it's fluid. So that's the practice, is to first thing in the morning, write by hand whatever comes to mind for about 3 pages. Now, the question is, why does this work? Why is this so effective? Now, I have done this. I don't do it every single day. In my season of life, it's just not possible for me. But I have done this practice, and it was really effective for essentially letting the sort of ego mind, all of the worries and the concerns and the considerations, they got to have their time. They had a chance to be expressed. And by giving those worries and background concerns a time and a place to be expressed, it was like they could rest. And then from there, I could move into a richer flow of creativity, a richer writing session. The other thing that's really powerful about the morning pages, why I think they work so well, is because you're just practicing the alchemy of putting ink on paper. And you're doing it by hand, which is actually really key to why morning pages, I think, are really transformational. And it's because you're having to slow your thoughts down to the pace of pen and paper, which is slower than if we're typing on a keyboard. There's something really embodied about writing with pen and paper, and the pace of that is really nourishing and really honors your your human beingness and your aliveness. So I think my experience is that morning pages are a really fantastic way to clear out the space that sets the scene for a really rich creative day and a rich creative session for whatever you do next. So one last thought I want to leave you with, because as I mentioned, I don't have time to do morning pages in this season of my life. I have small children and I have a husband, and I wake up and hit the ground running making lunches. So this is just not a season of my life where morning pages are working for me. But the idea of having an outlet for sort of just that internal dialogue that sometimes distracts us from our visionary work and distracts us from just showing up and making our work. You can do that at any time of day, in my opinion and in my experience. So you don't need to hold tightly to the time of day. That is one approach, but it's not the only approach. So if you have been scared off of the idea of doing this fluid stream of consciousness writing because you couldn't wake up first thing in the morning and do morning pages, my invitation for you is let that go, do it at the time that works for you, still try the practice and see what comes from just showing up with pen and paper and honoring your creative energy by writing those 3 longhand pages and just seeing how that works for you. So if you have any more questions about writing practice, how to really be in touch with your intuition and your creativity, you can leave me a comment here on this video. You can also go to leahcherrykent.com. I share even more intuitive writing practices, connecting your creativity to the moon cycles, Lots of good stuff at leahcherrykent.com. I really appreciate being in this conversation with you, and I look forward to seeing the beautiful visionary work that you are bringing into the world.